like this.
Zoom in. Okay, so when you zoom in, it doesn't affect me. You
Oh,
can zoom in if you want to, right? I think that's the beauty of it, right? You can do zooming in or whatever, and I'll still be fine.
and there is also create slides.
Yes, for a maximum of 20 slides. Okay, then you have to make a new Jamboard,
Okay.
right? So let's have fun with Jamboard, and let's start the trial. There is nothing else. We're just going to communicate using Jamboard and Zoom for now. I'm going to share my screen, but that's for recording purposes. You don't have to worry about my screen sharing at all. You just focus on the what do you call it? Focus on the Jamboard lah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, um, tell me, what is the problem? Yeah.
What do you mean by what's the problem?
Uh, You mean you send a question like this, you're saying that you don't know how to answer, right? So what is the problem?
It's hard to describe how the digestive system and circulatory system work together because I always miss a point or order them in the wrong direction.
Fair enough. It's a very big question. And that's fair lah. That's fair. It's a very big question, and I'm confused why it's 2 marks. Okay, but here goes. I'll focus on the most important thing. You may not realize that this is the most important thing. The most important thing is some teacher teach this word, some teacher don't. Okay, so I'm just gonna confirm with you guys. Okay,
Capillaries.
capillaries. Does your teacher mention capillaries?
Never have not met them before.
Okay, never mind. Then I must not use this word also. For now lah, I must. Okay. Just
But
know that
then,
if you study more biology, they will mention this a lot. Just know. Okay.
okay.
Now, I will mention where this, now I have to use the phrase tiniest, tiniest or tiniest and thinnest blood vessel, which is a mouthful, right? It's a mouth. That's why people call it capillaries. Now, the meaning of capillaries is the tiniest and the thinnest blood vessels. Okay, see, I'm gonna have to say it a very long way, right? Which exists everywhere in our body. Okay, everywhere. It doesn't matter where. Everywhere in your body, this guy exists, and for a very good reason. Okay, so how do I say? I just say this is the tiny blood vessel. Can I say that? Tiny blood vessels. Okay. Yeah. Now, why am I starting with this? Is because it's very simple. Because uh, you have seen this picture, lah. You know, the picture of the grape structure in your lung. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes.
Okay. And in the grape structure, you have this, correct?
Tiny blood vessels.
Correct? Which they call capillaries. Now, the point of the tiny blood vessel that it is super thin. Super thin. Super thin, yeah. Super thin. Why does it matter? Because what goes in? Tell me.
Oxygen.
Right. What's the job of the lung? Okay, one of them, to get oxygen in. Oh, okay, great. What's the job of blood? What do you think?
To transport oxygen, water,
Okay,
digested food, and carbon dioxide around the body.
good. Don't forget one more thing, waste. But they rarely talk about waste at your level. So, oxygen in. Now, how did the oxygen
Okay.
go from the lung to the blood? How?
The blood absorbs the oxygen.
But the blood exists inside blood vessels, not inside the lung, right? If it exists inside your lung, you'll be bleeding, which is not good at all. Okay? If it exists outside the blood vessel, you are bleeding, not good at all. Blood only should exist inside the blood vessels. I hope that makes sense.
Okay.
But oxygen exists inside the lung, right? Which is inside the air sacs. Okay, they did tell you what's the air sacs are there. Air sacs. So again, let me ask you, the blood is here. Blood is here. The blood exists inside blood vessels. The oxygen exists inside air sacs. How did the oxygen get into the blood?
The air sacs absorb the oxygen.
No, no.
The blood
Now let me
vessels.
tell you. Blood vessels. Okay, right. Okay. So I'll tell you the idea. Thin. The reason why they teach you air sacs is because air sacs are the thinnest part of the lung. The reason why they should teach you capillaries because capillaries are the thinnest blood vessel. Okay, I'll put emphasis. Thinnest. It's probably only 1 or 2 cells thick, something like that. Okay, 1 or 2 cells thick, 1 or 2 cells thick. Now, why is this important? Because if it is very thin, oxygen can go through. That's it. Oxygen can go through. That means oxygen arrive in the air sac, right? Now, let me make it very clear. This part is probably rather thick, probably rather thick. But it arrives in the air sac, and the air sac, bulges like a balloon, right? Balloon. The balloon is very thin, extremely thin, way thinner than your usual balloon. That's an air sac. So the oxygen has a chance to go out of the air sac into the blood vessel, into the blood. Because why? The blood vessel also thin at that point. Very, very thin.
The blood vessels are outside here.
Yeah, not from the outside. Not from the outside. The oxygen will, yes, go outside, but some will go into the blood vessel because the thin part. And then when the oxygen go into the blood vessel, the blood will take it.
So
The blood. Go ahead.
So is this like the air sac, and then it's very thin, and then
yes, very, very thin.
And then the
blood vessels over there.
The blood vessels is in between.
Not in between, outside. It's outside.
Outside. But it will
outside the air sac. Outside the air sac. It is outside the air sac. So yeah, outside the air sac like that, but both are thin. So both are thin. So what does it mean? Here's the O2. The O2 has a chance to go through the air sac and go through the blood vessel into the blood. Here's the blood vessels. Here's the blood cells there. The oxygen has a chance to go through two thin walls. So
the black line is
the thin wall of the air sac.
So it's basically just like this, and then there's another tube inside here. O2 oxygen is here, and it just comes in from a tube maybe here, and then the oxygen goes out here, right, into the
blood vessel, which is another thing here like that, another thing there.
So that's extremely thin. This thing is very, very thin. The yellow part. Everything is thin.
Correct. That's the point. I don't think they emphasize that enough. I don't think so. The fact that it is thin is what allows it to go out. If it is thick, it doesn't go out very well. Then there is no point in breathing. If the oxygen just go into your lung and it doesn't go out of your lung, there is no point breathing. I hope that makes some sense.
So this thing is very thin and it just absorbs the blood to the other side.
No, not absorb the blood. No. The blood cannot go out, and that's a good thing. The blood shouldn't go out of the blood. So it's just the oxygen goes out. The oxygen is the one that goes out.
So this thing
because oxygen is way smaller than blood. Blood cells, way smaller. So it is possible for him to go out.
So it just passes through the wall because it's very thin.
Correct. The wall is thin. The oxygen is small. Way smaller than the cell. But you still need the wall to be thin. Well, again, thinner. Okay. So I tell you a concept, right? There is no point breathing if there is no air sac and blood vessel, but a very specific blood vessel called capillaries. the tiniest and thinnest one. When you have those two near each other, by the way, only near each other, then there's a point in breathing in oxygen. By the way, just to tell you, the CO2 is in the blood also, carried by the blood, correct? The job of the blood, ma? Breathing in oxygen, breathe out CO2. How does that work? The CO2 goes through the blood vessel, very thin, goes into the air sac, and then breathe out. There you go.
So it actually just goes the other way around and back in
Correct.
here. And then goes out.
Correct. And the same for the same reason, because both sides are very thin. Both sides.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is not the digestive and circulatory system working together. It's not. This is the breathing. I just call it the breathing system and the circulation system. Because the circulatory system talks about the blood and the blood vessels, plus the heart. The breathing system obviously talks about your nose, your bronchi, and your lungs, and your air sacs. Now, this is them working together. How? There you go. Thin wall with thin wall. So far, so good.
It's just respiratory system and circulatory system working together.
Correct.
And what makes it work is just a thin wall here.
Two thin walls. Yeah? One thin wall from the circulatory side, blood vessel. One thin wall from the respiratory side. Okay? Now, you will find the exact same concept with digestive and circulation. Exact same concept. Okay, it's just that now it's blood vessel, because circulatory also always blood vessel. Blood vessel, tiniest and thinnest, call it capillaries. And the digestive system, which is most likely the organ you name above. So you tell me, what is the organ in A?
Organ in A is the small intestines.
Good. The super long small intestine, correct? The super long. What they don't tell you is inside the small intestine. So I'm going to draw a small intestine. I'm going to draw a small intestine. There you go. This is the wall of the small intestine. Just to be clear, usually the wall is thick. Usually, the way is what? Thick. Because if it is not thick, it's very dangerous for us, right? It's not good. It's not good for us to have a thin small intestine. It needs to work very hard, and you cannot afford it to be punctured. Okay, our stomach wall are very thick. Our small intestine wall are very thick. Our big intestine wall are very thick, which is good. Okay, but still, food, right? You call it nutrient. Can you call it nutrient? The small intestine there. Okay, still thick. Okay, still thick. But the nutrient does it.
Photo to the next slide, because it will be a bit easy.
Okay. I'll move. Let's move next slide. Let us move next. What do you think? Okay. Okay. So I'm in the next slide, and you can do that. You can copy that. Very good. Okay. You're using Jamboard very well.
And then this
you can see why Jam.
Right.
Can't. Which one delete? Sorry. You don't have to. Oh, if you want, that's okay. It's up to you. Understand? Yeah. It's all up to you. Okay. So up to you. Okay. I'll just. Correct. I'll make suggestion if I think I need to, but again, you just do what you want, right? Okay, so here's the small intestine thick wall. It's also very long, right? It's also very long. So it's a long journey there, around 6 meters for your mom. For adults, 6 meters long. Maybe for you, it's a bit shorter. Now, the nutrient is here, look. I'll draw some nutrients there. Okay, Ken? The nutrients are inside, flowing around. Okay. There is no point for you to digest food into nutrients if the nutrient doesn't go into the blood. There's no point. Why? The nutrient will just pass through and become poop. Now, why would you digest food if it just becomes poop? If nothing is absorbed. Make sense, yeah? Are you okay? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So where does the nutrient get absorbed? Well, there you go. Okay. Inside the small intestine thick wall. So now it's a little bit different. Now this is inside. inside you will find all the super thin, what do you call it? Capillaries lah. Capillary. What is a capillary? The thinnest, the thinnest and the tiniest capillaries, the thinnest and tiniest blood vessel. And then very near here. So you can see the thick wall become rather thin because the capillary approaches that side. That's just how they work.
So the capillaries are in the thick wall?
But very near the inside, very near. The outside maybe also have, but then the outside is not the one doing the absorbing. The inside one does the absorbing. So maybe there are capillaries here, maybe. Okay, but not the one doing the absorbing. This one is the one doing the absorbing because it's very near the nutrient. Okay, it's very near. So what happens to the nutrient? Well, it's exactly the same thing. Because the capillary is so near, then I have two thin wall.
So this thing must be thin. This must be thin as well. So this
same thing. And then you can go in. Okay. So suddenly the nutrient has moved from the digestive system into the circulatory system. Suddenly. Okay. But and I told you
that it's absorbed by villi right here.
What? So that means your teacher teach you villi. Okay, then I'll draw villi for you. I draw villi for you. Okay, so yeah, small intestine walls have villi, which is, curly stuff. And what is the content of the villi? The content of villi are many, many capillaries. Now, can you show me the picture of the villi that your teacher gave you? Show me that.
I don't have
as in, send me through WhatsApp. Send me that.
The teacher didn't. I don't think the teacher gave a picture of it.
Then how does your teacher say? Only mention the word villi.
And there was a video.
Okay. Let me just find a villi picture for you. Very simple, right? Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Exactly what I said, right? Okay, wait a minute. It's gonna appear soon, right? Okay, there. Villi. The villi is small. This is made bigger, okay? The villi is small. Zoom in, make bigger. Right. There you go. Would you look at that? Look at that for a while. The villi is part of the small intestine, right? Okay, so this is the small intestine, right? This is the small intestine. What is inside the villi? Capillaries. What else? Capillaries. There are other things, but the point is, I see capillaries. Why? Same exact thing. This is thin small intestine wall. This is thin blood vessel. Nutrient going. Clear?
Yes.
What happens to the waste? I'll tell you waste because your teacher doesn't seem to say that at all. I noticed that in primary 5, but you must understand that blood also carry waste. So it's the same parallel as oxygen and carbon dioxide. Blood doesn't only carry oxygen in. Blood must carry carbon dioxide out. Carbon dioxide is the waste of the breathing, correct?
Yes.
The waste, whenever we breathe, there is a waste. Okay, carbon dioxide. Okay. Then digestion is the same. With digestion, we take nutrient. I know the excess is called poop. Now, poop never enters the blood, never. But where does the waste come from? The waste come from the cell. What do I mean? No. So where does the carbon dioxide come from? The carbon dioxide comes from where? No, it's not. No, that's also wrong. The carbon dioxide take from all parts of the body. All parts of the body requires oxygen. That one makes sense to you. All parts of the body require nutrients. That makes sense to you, correct? What is all parts of the body? It simply means all cells. All cells. So everywhere requires oxygen and nutrient. If they don't get it, they die. It is really like that. But when they absorb the oxygen and the nutrient, they eat, right? the cells eat in the form of oxygen and nutrient, they also poop out something, so to speak. They poop out carbon dioxide and they poop out what they call waste, which is not the poop that we know. This is just the waste from the cell. So who does all this circulatory thing? Well, blood lah. Blood does the job, look. Blood does the job of carrying on. Yes?
So the CO2 is it created during making energy?
Yes, they call it the what do you call it? The mitochondria. Never mind. Have you heard about the word mitochondria of the cell? Okay, then never mind. Just take it as when the cell consume energy, CO2 is created. You're right. Same thing, when the cell consume nutrient, waste is created. And blood has to carry it.
Made where it's produced when energy is created.
Correct. And how does energy is created? Energy is created when they take oxygen and nutrient together, combine them, becomes energy for the cell. Cell is happy. Cell can work. Cell produces CO2 and waste. Okay. Produces CO2 and waste. So what happened to the CO2 and waste? Well, the blood must carry them away. If not, the cell die. Same thing, like too much CO2, too much waste, cell die also. Where does the cell bring the waste to? The cell brings it to your kidney. That's, I think, the reason why you don't talk about waste too much, because you don't talk about kidney too much. I think that's the reason. But just telling you the full picture. Okay. And with that introduction, I think it covers almost everything you need to know. I think that's the missing part. I noticed that this is totally missing from my other student. I don't know why the teacher never talk about this, but the teacher like to ask a lot. The teacher like to ask how digestive system and circulatory system work together, or respiratory system and circulatory system work together. They like that a lot. I don't know why they don't describe all this thing, this thin wall, thin wall thing. I thought it makes a lot of sense for even for a primary student, something like that. Okay. Now, I haven't told you how to answer, but I told you the concept. Do you think you can try to answer the question?
Yes, I'll try to answer on Jamboard using a new slide.
Can. And then you just type, maybe typing better, right? Just type something and let me see your English. You can type in page 2, you can type in page 3, that's up to you. Yeah, I've made the question there pop up, and then you can do the text box if you want to, right?
We have created a write it.
Just to confirm, Jeremiah, you're still typing, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. If you're stuck, don't wait too long. Please tell. Okay. Don't be stuck by yourself, right? Be shy.
Okay, can you see
Okay.
something? I'm still
Yes, I
writing.
can now see the blood absorb thingy, right? I can now see longer sentences. That's good.
Hello?
Right. Now I can see your full typing and when you release, right? Then I'm reading. So you know VLI, correct? You should use VLI. Okay, okay. Then I will add the part. Okay, I'll add the part that I feel is missing. The general logic is totally great already. Okay, okay. When you mention villi, which is great, you are automatically mentioning all the concepts that I teach you. Thin walls, right? Thin walls and capillaries. But you are okay. I'm gonna ask you a question about your teacher. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think about your science teacher?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. For example, does she like teaching you guys?
A bit, he's a bit strict,
A
but
bit straight.
usually, when I like finish a question, something like this, he will just like give the model. He will like if there's something empty, he will just give like two arrows here. But
And then
then
some correction.
he won't write what is here. So I'm always left. I don't know what is always here. He will just give
Oh,
me the answer. So
then
I don't know what
how do you find the complete answer?
the model answer, but it does not really make sense. It does not. I don't know what I did wrong in my RQ. No answer. What's missing and stuff.
I understand. Okay. Okay. Is she how do I say? He, sorry. Is he how do I say this? Okay, let me put it this way. In math, right? In math, there are some teachers who are very strict. You must do it a certain way, lah. You know. But there are other teachers where if they feel you understand, you're just doing it a bit differently, lah. Feels like okay, you understand this, okay, and your method still works. They are fine with it. Okay, so rigid or math teacher. That's your math teacher.
Math or science?
Right. Now go back to science though. So is he the, gotta do it his way, or if he feels that you understand, he will be able to accept your answer as long as it's detailed enough.
In very, very, very rigid.
Hmm.
If you're missing a few keywords or they're in the wrong
Hmm.
order or there's one wrong
Hmm.
word, it will minus marks.
Hmm. Okay, now I'll tell you something first. That sounds like you're missing details. Okay, and details are very important no matter what method you do. Same thing in math. Your method can be different, but the details must be clear and correct. Okay, then the teacher feel you understand. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for this guy understand. It's more towards that instead of is this guy saying the right words? Okay, no. If he or she feels that you understand, your method can be a bit different, but hey, got all the correct details anyway. So okay, I'll give you marks. That's the general thinking of any teacher, even though they might feel a bit strict. Okay.
They will just look for the keywords and
Hmm.
actually
Fair enough.
keywords is the most important.
Um, hmm. Okay, I'll tell you this because you're a primary 5 student, okay? Because you are not facing PSLE very soon. You still have a long way to go, which is great. I'll tell you something, right? Um, how do I say this? Now, if you want me to, if you come to this tuition, right, okay, and you want me to just emphasize on the keywords, it will be almost, it'll be almost a waste of time for you in this tuition, I agree that the keywords must be there, right? The problem is you cannot just throw keywords anywhere without a correct understanding in your mind and without a coherent sentence also. If you just throw your keywords everywhere, it doesn't work also. Worst thing worse, you don't even understand what the keywords are. That's even worse. Then when the question becomes hard, you cannot do anything. It works very well when the question is easy. Now let me ask you, in PSLE, will the question be easy or hard? Hard. Not most of them, but let's say half is hard, half is easy. Let's just say that, okay? So half of the time it works. You can just throw keywords and the sentences can be long. Then you look at a hard question, you don't understand the question, you don't understand the keyword, you throw everything around. How does that work? As in, does it work well for you, right?
Confusing.
Confusing. So true, the keyword must be there because those are the details that they are looking for. That's true. That's true. But if you want to be very good in science, I never ask you what you want. But if that's what you want the correct understanding, then you want the nice sentences, and then only then finally you want the details. Now, let me give you the good news first. Your understanding here seems good to me. Your sentence also seems good. You are just missing the details. That's all. Now, to me, that's just. I think it's very easy to fix if your understanding is already good and if your sentencing is also good.
Sometimes my sentencing is very, very, very long sentences because I feel
No,
like
no,
I
no, no,
have
no,
done this
no, no,
work.
no, 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 no. Let me show you. I can teach you how to sentence it nicer also. I can. But just for this thing, I'll just complete the detail. Now, I want you to know, I want you to know, Jeremiah, that it's very easy for me to correct you because everything else is okay. So let me just add the details. Right? Okay, okay. Wait, my drawing panel. Uh-oh. Okay, I have a problem. Oh yeah. So my writing will be a bit ugly for now. VLI is a detail they want. Keyword like you call it keywords. Okay, that's a detail. Because why? Because VLI means thin wall and capillaries. They don't teach you thin wall and capillaries. I can guarantee you, yeah, once you move to secondary, that's the keyword they want. Okay. But why? Because thin wall and capillary are both thin and it allows things to pass through. That's the concept behind it. The keyword represents something important. Okay. But for your level, villi already good enough. So that's very great. Okay. You don't have to mention thin wall or capillaries if you don't want to. So far, so good.
Okay. Yes.
What is the other detail that you're missing? Very simple. See, absorb digested food from, from something to something. Now that is a detail that they usually want or very happy to have. And you add that in, please.
Like from where, but I only know where to where.
Well, from where? What do you think? From where to?
From the small intestine,
Yeah, from the small intestine
bloodstream.
to the bloodstream or blood vessel. Anywhere is fine. So you understand that. Put it in. Put it in. This is the part most clear, yeah? Like the clearest part where you know how they work together. This is the part. How digestive and circulatory system work together. This is it. Look. When he moves from one system to the other system. There. I hope you understand why I emphasize it, because this is the essence of the answer. This is where you tell your teacher, hey, I understand what's going on. Yeah. Now, from small intestine to bloodstream doesn't sound like a keyword, right? Correct, correct. Keyword sounds, very weird one. A villi, villi is a keyword. Yeah, but I think from small intestine to bloodstream is a very important key phrase because it
Simple.
tells people that you understand.
It looks very simple.
Correct. It's not just about keywords. It's about the right detail. It can be a fancy word. It can be a nice phrase like this. I mean, you agree with me, right? If you put this phrase in from this to there, it improves your answer.
Which one? This?
Yeah, this thing. I mean, is it like, how do you feel? Does it feel like it improves the answer, or does it feel like it just makes it longer without any meaning? Which one?
Actually, uh, I don't really feel the difference.
Hmm.
Like, what's the difference?
Okay, let me ask you something. Okay. What you feel is important. Okay, again, what you feel is important. If you don't feel it's important, you won't do it in exam. Why? Because time is short. Why bother doing something not important? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Intuition, if you feel that, why is teacher emphasizing all this? What's the point? You better ask. Okay, so you ask, I'll answer. If you don't have this phrase, you don't have this phrase like from small intestine to bloodstream, the villi, blah, 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 right? Then which part of your answer talks about digestive system and circulatory system working together? Which part? So it's like,
Uh, oh, because from the villi, it does not say anything about the villi connecting to the blood. So this thing is actually connecting these two things.
two things, correct. Because of course you're on the right track. You're on the right track when you mention villi, but you never mention both of them, crossing each other. You never. To be fair, you got to make that very clear. You're already on the right track anyway, right? You're on the right track. Why don't make it very clear?
Connecting the two
Digestive system
systems.
and the circular system. And then the air sac is the same thing. You're going to mention air sac, and then you're going to mention from the air sac into the bloodstream. You're going to mention that. Then it's, oh, this guy know what he's talking about. This guy knows.
So because when I say from this, it just shows two different things happening in two different systems.
Correct. But
Teacher,
what's the
is Villi
connection?
what system is Villi in?
The inside the thick wall of the small intestine. Inside the thick wall, the villi makes the thick wall thinner.
Is it so it's digestive system?
It is the digestive system. And the blood vessel is embedded inside the villi, inside the small intestine itself.
So the villi is technically both of them.
Correct. And so you're on the right track. The moment you start with villi, you are correct. Why? It has both. Just make it very clear lah. Just make it very clear. That's all. There is no way your answer would be wrong if you make it to that level. There's no way. Done, finished. When you say villi is part of the digestive system, nobody's going to complain about it. You don't have to argue. It's both the this and that. It's okay. Just say from this to that, enough already. Done. That's what the syllabus seems to want you to understand, but I don't know why sometimes it's not emphasized enough in class. I see the question all the time.
The villi is like not always a keyword.
No, it is. I mean, if you're talking about both digestive and circulatory, villi is definitely what you want to mention.
Because once I think I did this question in school, the teacher didn't even ask anything about the villi.
How do I say it? Is this a homework?
No.
What is this then? Sorry.
From a practice book.
Will the teacher check this?
No, but I think it's better safe than sorry. On the national level, it should be there, I think. Better safe than sorry. Just write
How
it.
do I
No
say this? Like, how do I say it? You just mentioned this sentence because I keep saying, okay, this sentence have the correct detail, right? Okay. Why don't you just say this and then just show it to your teacher? Just ask his opinion, if that makes some sense. Then see how he takes it, and then we can discuss it. It feels so different.
Okay.
Okay, fair, yeah? Because I cannot contradict your teacher. I do not want to contradict your teacher. Right? I cannot say that this is better than his answer. That is never the point.
But
In
then,
fact,
it does not make it wrong. As long as it does not make it wrong and it improves the answer, I don't think it's wrong at all. Or maybe I should ask my HOD.
and also ask anybody in your school. Ask anybody that you feel is friendly. Yeah? Show him this and then ask him, is this worth 2 marks or not? Okay, and then see how he thinks and how he feels. Right? How he feels.
And teacher, do you suggest that I memorize the answers for
No.
this, like word for word, so
No.
it will be a 2 mark?
No, please don't. But why? Why do I not suggest that? Okay, I only suggest that you put a copy and read before exam. That one, yes. But to memorize makes it like this. How do I say it? Okay. Please understand that the question will be slightly different in exam. 50% will be almost exactly what you learned. 50% will be slightly different or very different than what you learned. Correct?
Yes.
That's your experience with exam. Some part is easy, some part is hard. Okay, that's a normal exam. That's just how exam works. If you memorize too much, even though you already understand, okay, it feels to me that you understand. Okay, so I will recommend, if you already understand, just read through everything before exam. You will have the detail in anyway. Don't put it so rigid, and then be ready to modify the details when you see a slightly different question. You need to do that. Let me put it another way. Okay. If what you want is to pass science, you can just memorize. No problem. You'll do better than pass. You'll get around 65% if you memorize only, no matter what you do.
65% is very low.
If it is too low to you, then you must understand how to go higher from 65 is not to memorize more. That's already wrong. Okay, it's also not to understand more, by the way. You need to understand quite a lot and memorize quite a lot. I agree. But to go further than 65, you must be able to understand what the question wants and what the syllabus wants. It's actually pretty simple. I am telling you right now, This is what the syllabus wants. Therefore, the question will try their best to do that, to ask what the syllabus wants. The syllabus wants to test you until this detail. Does this guy know how these two systems work together? That one I can tell you the syllabus wants.
So the important
Now,
thing is actually the connecting the two systems together. Because
I'm not saying the important, but the most detail they want. They go into certain level of detail, right? This is the deepest they will go. They will not go deeper than this. This is enough for scoring high. Understanding wise, this is enough. We'll just talk about how to deal with the question, because the question sometimes can be very confusing. This is not a confusing question. You will see a confusing question next time.
confusing question is a question that cannot be answered.
No, a question that talks about something new to you in exam. Most people find that very confusing. What is this, man? How come I never study this? That's the whole point. The whole point of the question is to introduce to you something you have never studied inside the exam and see how you handle it.
And then that should be very, very hard.
No, not true. But if you want, I don't know how many percent you want. Okay, now is the time. Now is the time to ask you. Okay, because time is almost up, right? Like, let's talk about PSLE, right? I mean, what kind of percent do you want for your PSLE side?
85 to 90.
You want 90%. Are you serious? You want 90%?
Yes.
Which means you want, last time the grade is called A plus lah, right? You're talking about AL1. You're talking about, oh my goodness. Now, that is safe to say that you will need to understand how far the syllabus wants, which is what we talk about today, but that's only the first step. The second step is to understand what does the difficult question mean, right? Okay, so I'll tell you what it means, and then probably we have to end. No, why does the question introduce to you new things? It's very simple. They want to test how you react to new things, correct? Now, if your syllabus is not strong, you will think like this: oh my goodness, I don't know this. Must be something wrong with me. Do you understand?
Something that you didn't learn or something.
Yeah, I forgot to learn this, or I missed what my teacher is saying, or I was sleeping, or I forget. No. It's already a test. Do you know your syllabus enough so that you know this is not in the syllabus? Relax, man. This is not in the syllabus. First thing first, it's a test of your syllabus by testing you what is not in the syllabus. Now, the question maker doesn't get to do whatever he wants. Whenever he introduces something outside the syllabus, he knows, right? He's good at his syllabus, so he knows when this is outside the syllabus. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. He has a responsibility to you, to all students. What's the responsibility? He has to give you enough information so that you can do the question. Because it's outside the syllabus, so he has to give you enough information.
Also,
Therefore, yeah, it's not fair. So they are not testing you something outside the syllabus. That's wrong. They are testing you on your reading comprehension. No, don't say inferences. You have never seen the inference question are the hardest question, and inference does not mean to talk about something outside the syllabus. Wrong. To talk about something outside the syllabus is as simple as reading comprehension. You know what? From your English, think about your English test for one. There's a part called reading comprehension. You know, one page article, right? One page article, and then usually 8 MCQ. Correct? Am I making any sense? Reading comprehension. Okay. Do you ever expect the article to be something you already know?
no.
And you never bother, right? It's a new article. I just read lah. Correct? Just read and understand lah, and then I can answer the 8 MCQ. Usually the last 2 MCQ are the harder ones. The first few are the more obvious ones. Correct?
MCQ. Yeah.
the questions, like the question. They will ask questions after the article. So, some are easy, some are hard. Okay. Okay. How do you answer the question? By understanding the article. I mean, all those things are obvious. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, in science, people tend to freak out when they see this kind of question. It's just a reading comprehension, Jeremiah. They're giving you something new outside the syllabus. Yeah lah. Which exam gives you a reading comprehension? You already read, you already learn. No way. It's going to be a new article, but no problem. You spend time reading it and you spend time understanding what is in so that you can answer the question. You never complain this is outside the syllabus if it is an English test. Never. Change that time, you use that thinking inside the science question, and what you think hard is going to sound easier already. I have to read. I know this is outside the syllabus, no problem. And then I'll find my answer in my reading. Of course, that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second thing you need to do to get 90%. The last one is to handle the inference question. Just now wasn't the inference question. The inference question are the hardest one. And sometimes if you want to get 90%, you have to deal with that. That's right. But not before the first two, not before the first. Now, this question only tests you the limit of the syllabus. It doesn't test you on something outside the syllabus, and it doesn't test you the inference question. Also doesn't. So it's a good start. I'm going to turn on my video, stop the sharing. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, to me, the purpose of the trial, right, to know where you are. So I think I know where you are roughly, and you also tell me your goal. So to me, it's very clear what you are trying to do. And I feel that you do like science. That's what I feel. Okay. So to me, that's all good things. You know where you're going. You seem to want to commit to science. Seem to like science. That's my impression. Okay. For me, the trial served its purpose. Now, how about you, Jeremiah? Does the trial serve its purpose for you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then, don't decide anything. Talk to your mom lah. Talk to your mom. This is it, blah, 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 the stuff, blah, blah, blah. If you guys like it, you guys want to continue, then we talk about how to do the tuition. Okay. Any other question about?
So just now the question in the Jamboard, was it correct? The rest of it?
Sorry, you mean your answer, is it? Your answer?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're only missing that detail, the from something to something. And I think that kind of seals everything. That's definitely 2 marks already.
So the important part is so the other part is so that the rest of the body can make energy, this energy.
I think the making energy part is outside the question. The question only asks you, to transport digested food. So to get the digested food to all parts of the body is enough already. The energy part is not what they ask. They won't penalize you for it, but don't expect any marks from it.
But I'm afraid, because the last time I wrote something, they will only minus mark if it's a wrong idea.
Correct. This is not the wrong idea. It's just outside the question. It's totally fine. They just ignore it. They won't penalize you for it. Okay. I hope that makes some sense.
So digested food to all parts of the body, and that's the end.
Based on the question.
Okay.
Okay. Now, okay. Is there anything else?
No.
Feel free to discuss with your mom, and if we continue, then we continue.
Okay.
Okay, make sense, Jeremiah? Okay, good to see you, and I'll wait for the news. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.